Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and today I'm going to make this swirl and bead ring. With the copper one, I used round beads, and with the other one, I used a rocaille or a large seed bead. The copper one is 20 gauge, and the gold one is an 18 gauge. I actually prefer the seed bead to the round bead. I think it wraps in better to the design, but if all you have is a round bead, you can try it out and see how it works for you. It's a fairly easy project, so let's get started. I'm working with 1.5 of 18 gauge wire. You can go down to a 20 gauge wire or up to a 16. It's really up to you, and it's really what fits your beads. So you just need to put it on your mandrel or a dowel if that's all you have, and just pull both sides so that they're even on both sides, and just wrap it around once, and then you're going to bring it right around again and bring the two ends together. If you want, you can make your ring half a size small, and then you can size it up after you're done, or you can just go ahead and make it the size you want to. Now you're just going to make a little twist in the wire, so one wire up and one wire down, and that will secure your wires. Now keep it on your mandrel or your dowel just for another minute or two until you get a little more secure to keep the size. Now working in opposite directions, you're going to bring one wire up and then the other wire down, and you're going to continue to do that a few more times until your ring is more secure. You can hold the center with your finger just to keep the ring in place. I'm going to continue to wrap the wires, and what's going to happen is it's going to start to look more like a rosette. And once you feel it's secure, you can take it off your ring mandrel or dowel. If you prefer not to add the beads, you could always just finish your ring with just doing the swirl in the center and just wrap your wires around the sides of the ring to secure it. If you want a flatter swirl, you can use your chain nose pliers to flatten it out, or leave it as it is, and it kind of looks a little bit like a rose if you leave it without flattening it. You're going to keep wrapping the wire until you have about 3 inches on each side, and that will be enough to add your beads. I'm using a 5mm rocaille bead or just a really large seed bead. So you're going to take the bead close to your swirl, and you're just going to start to wrap around the bead with the remainder of the wire that you have on one side. You're going to keep wrapping around the bead until you have probably about a half an inch to an inch of wire left. That will be wrapped around the base to finish your ring. And you can adjust your bead as much as you like because it might move out of place, and use your pliers to push the wires down around it so it's more of like framing the bead. Now that I've wrapped as much as I want, I'm just going to use this leftover wire and just wrap around the base of the ring to secure it and to finish the ring. And you can use your chain nose pliers to push all the coils close together. And you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the ring. And as before, you can use your chain nose pliers to push down the wires around the bead. Then secure the wire around the base of the ring with a couple wraps. You can always do more or less based on what you want to do. I usually go about 2 or 3. Keep in mind, the bigger the gauge wire, the more difficult it is to get the wraps around, so you're going to have to work at it a little bit harder. And if your swirl has come out of place, you can always use your chain nose pliers to push it flat and also to push the wires down around the beads. And the last thing to do is to put it back on the mandrel or dowel just to make sure that the shape is nice. And if you wanted to size it up now, this would be the time to do it. So I'm just going to use my hammer just to size it up and also to wire harden it. But again, that's all a personal choice. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. And that would be your completed ring. So this completes the tutorial. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.